Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here, man. Yo, Kyle Kuzma. I knew you were a Michigan man. You are feeding the people, bro. Thank you for them chicken wings, man. I really do appreciate it, okay, guys? In all seriousness, Kuzma, I would take you on the Pistons, though. Just saying. Not for 2 first-round draft picks, but that's the going rate, apparently. But yes, guys, horrible take. Horrible take. Don't be that team. You were that team. For today's video, we are going to check out some more recent bad NBA takes. Video by Jimmy High Roller, the most insane NBA takes I've ever seen. Oh, I get it now. Oh, I love this song too, man. From left to right, Ty Lue, 82 game. What?
What are you doing?
Dart ham on the sidelines.
Just hanging around.
Skip found a new target.
Right.
Oh, of course.
Right inside it, and he can't extend on me anymore, and he seems a little overwhelmed by my girth and tonnage, right?
What? Uh-oh. Wait, we knew Flight was going to be on here, man. Yeah, I don't think I'll be on here at all.
Why do we do this to ourselves?
Oh, goodness.
Have we as NBA fans collectively decided we're just going to have the most dog water opinions in all of sports?
Yes.
I think so. I, too, am guilty of this.
Not me.
Today, we're going to take a look at some of the hottest...
I've only stated facts my entire life.
I've come across recently. So buckle up. It's about to get ugly.
By the way, I didn't gain a whole bunch of weight, guys. I got like 3 hoodies on. It's cold here, man. It's cold here, man.
Today's video is sponsored by
Looking like the round mound of Flake Bound. Okay, SeatGeek. I'm gonna get myself some Lion tickets, bro. Tampa Bay. Wait, what was it? Code Jimmy? Always gotta show the code, right? Where we at? Okay, yeah, Code Jimmy, man. If you want to go to one of them Lions games, man. I said one of them because there's gonna be multiple more.
I've left a link to download the SeatGeek app in the description below. Just head over, use code Jimmy, and get $20 off your first purchase.
Let's get it.
I have something to admit. I have a sick obsession with bad NBA takes.
They are fun.
I can't help myself. Why I choose to dive headfirst into this dark and desolate rabbit hole far too often is beyond me. It's an addiction, really. I need help. And while scrolling for way too long the other day, I came across this. A gold mine. Will this Reddit thread contain some of the most devious nonsense I've ever laid eyes on? Yes. Do I want to read all of it?
Okay, guys. Honest opinion in the comment section below. Do you feel like with ridiculous hot takes, do you think it's people actually believing in it? Or do you think it's simply people trying to get engagement? You know, like, let me know in the comments.
Absolutely. Because I, too, want to go insane. And after seeing this comment, I knew it was time for another hot takes video. Now, our first take comes from former NBA player Rashard McCants, who came up with a diabolical take while on a podcast with Gilbert Arenas a few weeks ago.
I remember him.
I think that the real hoopers know that Kevin Durant is going to go down as a better basketball player
than LeBron did.
LeBron. At the end of the road, not right now. Just as much hype as LeBron. You know, Texas and DC assault, all that stuff. It's like, well, why is KD not being seen as top 3 all time?
Because the media killed off the legacy when he left.
When he left, yep.
Now, the take itself is one thing, because in no universe would KD ever be regarded as a better basketball player than LeBron. But I actually want to address why this clip is a prime example of how just because someone played in the NBA doesn't necessarily mean they're
Gilbert Arenas is the Flight Reacts of NBA players. I think we could just say that.
Of current and former NBA players to justify their stance on something NBA related. But the truth is, you can be exceptional at something and still have a wild or even completely wrong take on it. I mean, just a couple months ago, Shaq unironically asked what's the difference between Wemby and Bol Bol. Steven Jackson, a once really good NBA player, said he was better.
We'll be pausing on this video, by the way, guys. I gotta give my opinions on all this stuff here, man. It is a reaction video. If you want to watch the real thing, link in the description below. Okay, the difference between Bol and Wembanyama is like that. Okay, yeah, they're both like the same height. A lot of players in the NBA are the same height. Don't mean they're the same player. That's the difference, Shaq. You're looking at height only. Makes no sense.
Manu Ginobili, Ray Allen, and Vince Carter.
Give me a guy that you think you're better than, that it'll be a Hall of Famer. Ray Allen.
Definitely Ray Allen.
Definitely.
Vince Carter.
I think as a player, yes.
Manu Ginobili.
I definitely think I was better than Ginobili.
You can be great at something and still be wrong. And this idea that only real hoopers will
Or just
understand
ego
his
inflated.
stance is just a baseless claim to negate anyone's opinions that don't align with his. I get it. Some play the game, some watch the game. I understand the difference between a hooper and someone who just plays or even just casually watches basketball. But being good at playing the game and really understanding the game and what makes players great are two separate things. I'm no expert, but guys like Ben Taylor, Zach Lowe, and Kevin O'Connor are excellent NBA analysts.
Oh, that's
who
a big
really
three right
understand
there.
all the finer
I'll take him in
nuances of the
Detroit.
game, and yet they never played it at any significant level.
Yet.
This all reminds me of the quote,
Get them
"Those who
10-day
can,
contracts."
do. Those who can't, teach." Some of the greatest coaches were just pretty good basketball players, but not even close to NBA talent. And some of the best players are absolutely lost without a jersey on and a ball in their hands. You do not have to be a real hooper to really understand the game and have a passion for it and have well thought out, informed, and reputable opinions on it. Now, our next take comes from a fan that's certainly not alone in his opinion.
All right.
And that's because he thinks Giannis is overpaid for a guy who can only run and dunk. Now, this has been the
Just
narrative on Giannis even before he won a
A
championship
stupid narrative.
3 years ago. Big guy run, big guy dunk. But I don't get this line of reasoning. That's like saying Stephen Curry is overpaid for a guy that only shoots threes. Or that
Right. It's like the goal is to put basketball into basketball hoop. Why does it matter how you do it as long as it's done within the realm of the rules? I don't get it. Like, what do you want Giannis to do? Do you want him to not optimally put the basketball into said hoop? I don't know.
For a guy that could only pass. Even the greats have their strengths and weaknesses. Shaquille O'Neal literally made a living by being bigger and stronger than everyone else.
Right.
Imagine
Should've
seeing
shot
this
threes.
and saying, that's not bad for a guy who just drops steps and dunks everything.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no one could stop it. This is exactly what made him so good. Now, if a player
Should've
has
been a
very
perimeter player,
one-dimensional game
only.
that falls apart and is ineffective when it matters, like the playoffs, then there might be some merit to this statement. But Giannis has won a title.
You know, one of the things I really like in life, I think it's a really good common saying that should be utilized a lot of the time, is keep it simple, stupid. Like, the only thing I get out of this take here is that whoever made it is more impressed with having the same result, but in a more difficult way. Like, being somebody that like dominates like the mid-range game and the post moves and all the footwork that goes with that, yeah, that's more difficult to score than it is just kind of running to the basket and dunking. But I mean, it's still the same result. So I don't get it.
50 to close out a final series just running and dunking. That's his role.
Yeah, he made
That's
them
what
free
he's good
throws,
at,
too.
and it works.
He made
In
about
fact,
20 of them
he's
that game, didn't he?
expanded his game over the last few years with three-pointers and more perimeter play. And ironically, whenever he does this, people just say, why is he shooting threes instead of just running and dunking the ball? If you're getting the job done, how you get it done is irrelevant.
100%.
This is a bad take. This next take comes from an NBA fan that says that Steph Curry is top 10 all time. And not only do I agree with this, I don't even think this is a hot take anymore. And yet somehow, in the great year of 2024, there are still people out there who don't think Steph is in the pantheon of NBA greats. His impact on the game, his dominance, his revolutionary skill set, his place as inarguably the greatest shooter of all time, all make him clearly a top 10 player. But I think it's his shortcomings and small hiccups throughout his career that keep some fans from putting him amongst the greatest to ever play.
Which, I mean, is in a way itself a fair statement. Like, we have to look at what the ultimate goal of basketball is, and that's to win championships, right? Like, to win championships, you have to put basketball into basketball hoop. You know, Steph Curry does that as the greatest of all time from the three-point range, so that's pretty dang impressive. But all these guys here are dominant in their own aspects for different reasons, right? So you got to look at, you know, rings, contribution to those rings, and I don't know, man, because it's like, these are all great players. So to knock somebody out for Curry is also being like, oh, well, that's disrespectful to that player. So, yes, and this goes as far as, like, you know, Curry's a point guard, like Bill Russell's a center. It's like, how do you compare that? So, I don't know. I still think, like, top lists are very subjective to personal opinion.
Keep some fans from putting him amongst the greatest to ever play. Kevin Durant joining the Warriors, the 3-1 comeback, this nonsense narrative that all he does is run around moving screens and
I don't care about KD joining the Warriors as far as Curry goes.
Imperfections, we tend to forget that every all-time great has had their
any of them all-time greats will took KD.
Even questionable victories. Hakeem won his 2 championships in the 2 seasons Michael Jordan was retired and wasn't around to defend his title. Kareem, regarded by most as the 3rd greatest player ever, has 6 championships but only 2 finals MVPs since he played with the greatest point guard of all time for a decade. Kobe was the 2nd best player for 3 of his championships. Duncan won his first title in a weird half-ass lockout season and was not the best player on the Spurs in their last title run.
Kawhi Leonard, man, Finals
MVP.
MVP.
Dream team when he did all of his damage. As time goes by, we tend to overlook or even forget about the bad and focus on the good. I think this.
A lot of that's also from lack of NBA knowledge. You know, you have a lot of young bloods out there that are just getting to the NBA game, you know, over the course of Curry's career, and a lot of people aren't going to do the work to look back at history and see, like, the circumstances of a lot of championships, right? Like, I think Jimmy does a great job here, right? Like, he puts out that narrative of, hey, like, Larry Bird played with 5 Hall of Famers. Nobody's using that against him. So why are we using Curry playing against or playing with Kevin Durant? Doesn't make sense.
As he nears the end of his career, and everyone,
because more people know about Kevin Durant than they do about them 5 Hall of Famers.
10 greatest players of all time. Now this next take comes from
ask somebody about Durant or Parrish, who they know more about.
Over the last year, ever since LeBron James broke the NBA's all-time scoring record last season, fans have been theorizing who might be the player to break it. And like many others, this fan says it will be Luka Doncic.
Luka.
My brothers.
Luka will be the player to break LeBron's scoring record. Okay, he might get cranky here, so I don't know if I want to talk about it yet. Luka Doncic, I mean, the longevity is the big thing, right? Like, Luka already gets injured early on in his career. I don't know if I do not think he's got the longevity. I do think Luka does have a end of career type of role as, like, a 2nd or 3rd primary ball handler. I'm talking about when he's, like, in his mid-30s, right? You know, shooting threes and stuff, but, yeah.
Luka Doncic is not breaking LeBron's scoring record. In fact, no one in the NBA today, or even any upcoming prospects, will break LeBron's scoring record. I would even go as far as saying this record will not be broken within our lifetime. Records are made to be broken, it's only a matter of time. Yeah. Whatever LeBron ends up with, no one is touching it. I get that Luka is the obvious prime candidate to get the job done.
I don't know if I agree with that.
He's already way off pace from where LeBron was at this point in his career. Luka is nearly 5.5 seasons into his NBA career and has 10,177 total career points. At the exact same point in his career, LeBron already had 11,621 career points. That's nearly a full season worth of points, off pace already. And the scoring gap between LeBron and many other young stars around the league is even bigger. In fact, at the pace he is on, Luka would have to keep scoring the ball like he has been and play in the NBA until 2042 to break the record LeBron will more than likely
LeBron did it.
with. But not only did LeBron get out to arguably the greatest start in NBA history, he never had a major injury in over 20 years. And he's also
That's the big thing.
having
Now,
the
that's why I don't
greatest
say
finish
Luka because
to
of
a career
injuries.
in NBA history. Does this look like a man who is going to play over 20 years in the NBA? Even with
Right, and you know, like, okay, so I'm 31, so to have, I have two 20-generation, or two 20-year spans in my life, probably, because that puts me at, you know, the first 20 would be 51, then 71, man. But also, I might live to be 100, so, yeah, I think that, I don't know, I think we could see it in our lifetime. I really do. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but I don't think it's improbable. I think with the pace of the NBA keep on going on, who knows if they could do some crazy thing and add in a 4-point shot. You know, sports medicine technology coming along, like longevity is going to be easier to obtain. So I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility. But then you have to have a talent as good as LeBron, and I don't think Luka's as good as LeBron, you know, in his prime. So it's my opinion.
the way scoring continues to increase, players don't even play enough games anymore to keep up with LeBron's pace. Say LeBron plays 2 more seasons after this year, putting up the same numbers he is now. And say a player manages to be the most lethal scorer ever. MJ has the highest career points per game average in NBA history at 30.1 points. So this new player is literally scoring like Michael Jordan from the moment he steps foot in the league. Now, if that player played 70 games a season, averaging 30.1 points a game for every year, he would have to play for 22 seasons to break LeBron's scoring record. 30 a game for 22 years straight, with no margin for injuries, breaks, or any regression. It is not happening. Some records are just unbeatable. Bill Russell's 11 rings will never be topped. John Stockton's assist record, it's not going anywhere. LeBron's scoring record will be the same. You and I will never.
How long
see
did
this
Kareem have
record
it
get
for?
broken. Now, our last take is a scorcher, and
Oh, boy.
I couldn't agree more with it. This guy says that many, if not most, NBA fans don't actually watch games. They just watch clips, highlights, and gather stats to.
Yes, I do think a lot of people do that. You think I'm watching every single NBA game every single night? Ain't nobody got time for that. Like, yeah, a lot of people do just look at clips and highlights. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And people say if you do that, then you're a casual. No, I think you're a normal fan if you do that. I think that if you really deep dive and watch every single NBA game and you're doing damn calculations and spreadsheets, then I think you're an analyst. I think you're analytically going out there and trying to use, you know, that stuff to prove your points. But to, like, this right here is okay. It's okay to have a favorite basketball team and watch those games, and you know, you're going to catch some TNT or some ESPN or something like that. You might catch the big game, or maybe you got NBA League Pass, you watch a few extra games. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with this whatsoever, man. I mean,
form their opinions.
If you can back up your opinion, you can back it up.
Experience. This is absolutely true.
Yeah.
If you want to really know what's going on from game to game and have a solid idea of who's having a good year, who's not, why some players are making leaps while others are taking steps back, why some teams are winning and others aren't, you need to watch the games. It's a wild.
Well, I also think too that it's okay to rely on others for that information. You know, like nobody's gonna come to me to get like the latest team analysis on the Golden State Warriors. You're gonna go watch Flight. Sorry.
I know. But time and time again, fans will have their entire perception of the league curated purely off of stats and highlights. Isaiah Joe is having an awesome year. He's played a vital role in OKC's rotation and fills a lot of gaps for them on both ends of the court. You would not know this unless you watch them play. In fact, you might not even know who Isaiah Joe is if you don't watch OKC play. Russell Westbrook has been a demon on defense for the past month, guarding the opposing team's best perimeter players, breaking up sets, getting into passing lanes.
Right, and that's the thing is that like right now we are watching these highlights of this thing, you know, of these things happening. So I think if you look at the stats, if you do look at the highlights, you know, you can get an estimated guess of a player's role on their team and kind of like what's, you know, how they're performing on the court. I mean, but yeah, if you really want to do a deep dive, then yeah, you got to watch every single game. Plain and simple.
pushing the pace for the Clippers. He has been awesome in his role this season. You would not know this if you don't watch the games. Nikola Jokic has seen a dip in production over the last 10 games or so. His numbers are down. This might have you believing he's having a bad stretch of games here. He is not. The man is on cruise control. They are winning games, and that's all he cares about. But you would not know this if you don't watch the games. Now, there's nothing wrong with casual fandom. Not everyone wants to sit around and watch a game between the Blazers and the Jazz.
Yeah, I don't even
9
call
p.m.
it
on a
being
Tuesday.
casual. I think it's just being a normal fan.
But context matters,
I don't know, man.
and not enough fans are getting it. Watch the games, my friends. But that's all I got for now. Y'all know the drill. Leave your hottest NBA take.
Sorry, I'm just in thought mode, man. When I get in thought mode, I get my thinking face. I'm just like stare off into the abyss. I mean, I kind of made my points already, so that's all we got for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out, my friends.